She wouldn't have done that. Girls wouldn't do that, you know. Girls, I tell you what, girls borrow. That's what they do. Girls borrow. That's their big thing. They like to borrow. Can I borrow this? Can I borrow that? Borrow off each other, borrow off you, borrow off everyone. And no concept of ever giving it back, ever. No, I remember with one of my girls, she went off to her first festival a couple of years ago, yeah? Went to Reading Festival she went to. And she said, Dad, I'm going to the festival. Can I borrow the family tent, please? I said, yeah, absolutely. You're going to a festival. You need a tent. Off you go. Yeah, she takes the tent. I said, take the backpack as well, and you're sorted, aren't you? All sorted. Off she goes. I pick her up from the station 4 days later. It's all covered in mud, you know. She had a good time. There's no tent. No tent. Complete absence of tent, I would say. Number of tents about her person, 0. So I said to her, where's the fucking tent? Obviously, I didn't say exactly that. You know, I said, where's the fucking family tent? And then I got, you know, then you hear these words and you know you're out. You don't count anymore in this one. I said, she said, well, what you don't get right, what you don't get. When you've heard those words, you're out of the business. You can't do. What you don't get right is on the last day, everyone was running around setting fire to the tents. Of course they were. How silly of me not to think about. You've enjoyed the festival, and why not round things off with arson? Any news on the backpack? No, I left it there. There's no point bringing it back. There's nothing to put in it. Yeah. Once again, your logic has defeated me. Incredible. I took my eldest daughter for her first driving lesson, and I was quite proud of that moment. I was felt like a rite of passage when I was doing that. You know, I thought, I've reached an age where I shall impart my knowledge of the highway unto my firstborn, without actually thinking about what I was really doing, which is getting into a car, my car for that matter, to be driven on the road, on a real road, by someone who is, as I've already said, mentally ill. I've never been more terrified in my life. I'm not telling you that. Many of you may have been in this situation. If you haven't, my advice is do the first half hour in a quiet back street if you can find one. We went to Tesco car park and did the first sort of half an hour of kangaroo starts and wrong gear and reversing instead of going forward and scratching one or two cars and then she had a go. We're going down the road. We're going down the road, and I said, okay, we're approaching a junction now. So now would be a good time to start slowing down and see all the cars going across. So actually, we're quite close to the junction. Don't worry about slowing down. Just stop the car. I don't want to die. And no, don't get upset. I did not raise my voice. I did not. You're doing well. You're doing fine. It doesn't matter about that. Listen, let's look on the plus side. At least you know how the airbags work. Of course it was his fault. He should never have jumped out like that. That's the police for you. They think they own the place. Don't worry. Just drive on. He'll come round. But one of the big themes, I think, about being a parent, and as life goes on, you're an influence on those kids, and without any doubt. And something I take quite seriously. I tell you a story. When I was up in Yorkshire. Not so long ago, and I got a local paper. Always get the local paper where I go. I was reading a story there, and it just caught my eye. What this story. This guy was in court. He was being prosecuted for having sex with a donkey. I'll be honest with you. Everywhere else I said that gets a huge laugh. So I don't know what's. If I've overstepped the mark, you let me know, will you? It's a little weird moment that was. I had sex with a donkey. There was like a collective, so what? Yeah, you're in Hammersmith now, Jack. You don't know what goes on. Anyway, he had sex with a donkey, and he was being prosecuted for this. Now, I'm not even going to go into that. I don't want, that to me is just, that's bizarre enough in its own right. You can't even say it without implying that another species would be in some way better. Sex with a donkey, well, a racehorse, yeah, bring it on, but a donkey, no. Guys, and it made me wonder, you think like donkey sanctuaries and Blackpool and places like that where they have donkeys going up and down the beach, do they have a problem with sex tourists checking them out and, hanging around, oh, that little grey one, oh, fucking no. Oh, God, that's a saddle halfway up his back, he's begging for it, ain't I? I've got a carrot for him, I have. Oh, fucking. It's horrible, it's horrible. It's horrible. So I don't want to talk about that aspect of it, but the thing that got me, as I read the story, is that this guy, he was a father of 3. And I thought, oh my God, what happens? I mean, how do you tell your family that you've done this thing? What the hell the people who look up to you and regard you as as really special, what goes on in these households when this kind of thing? Okay, everyone, do you want to just come in the kitchen for a minute? I need to have a quick word with you. Yeah, put that down for a second. I need to have a word. This is awkward. Look, your dad's done a silly thing. No, that doesn't cover it. I'm sorry. I've done silly things. I forgot where I parked the car. I lost the passport on holiday. That's silly. You will never have respect in your household ever again once you've done a thing like that. Why? It doesn't matter how long you leave it. Well, I see the credit card's overdrawn again. Yeah, but I didn't fuck a donkey, did I? So. What time do you call this young man? Well, I call it midnight, but you know what? I wasn't out fucking donkeys, so on balance, what a terrible thing to discover that stage in your life. What a terrible, and it's a difficult time, it is, isn't it? We all relate to that. I remember what it was like. We all do. We all remember what it was like. Even I have to say, according to my parents, I went through a period in my life when I was really quite morose.